In 3, 2, 1. So that wraps up our VO meter reference levels. We'll get to our interview in depth with
Dude, good
George.
luck editing out the word one. You're not supposed to say the one, Paul.
Oh, you're right.
You go
Sorry.
3, 2.
Yeah, I know this from
and then you start
TV.
talking. You're never going to be able to edit the one out because it ran right into the next word. Okay.
Yeah, I did think about
Please leave that in the show because it's funny.
All right. I'm going to do my hand signals so I know. And I'll do the sweeping arrow pointing at myself.
The hand signal is so useful because we're not seeing each other.
I know.
But that's okay. You're direct. Are you literally
You can hear the
yourself?
vibrations.
No, I'm directing myself. I'm pointing at myself with the fingers.
Do it. Please do it. Please
Okay.
do it.
In 3, 2. The VO meter, measuring your voiceover progress. Whether you're a veteran voice actor, just starting out, or don't even know how to set a level, we're here to help you avoid the pitfalls along your voiceover path to success. The VO meter is brought to you by Global Voice Acting Academy, JMC Demos, Voice Actor Websites, Bodalgo, Roswell Pro Audio, and Vocal Booth to Go. The VO meter is produced in part using Source Connect, made by source-elements.com. And now, your hosts, Paul Stefano, Sean Daly, and George Whittam.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 124 of the VO Meter.
Measuring your voiceover progress.
We've got a great show today, guys. We've got a bit of surprise, actually. So we're proud to announce that we have a new co-host joining us today, and that's none other than audio engineer to the stars, George Whittam.
Hey, I guess that's my cue. Do I talk now?
Not quite yet, because there's two of us. And
it's all right. We didn't rehearse. It's fine.
But we are extremely excited to have George. This is something I've been sort of on the back end trying to make happen for a long time because, frankly, you were a bit of an idol to me when I first started. You and Dan Leonard, and I think you've heard me say on the show that you guys taught me everything I know that I didn't learn in school. And we've always had a bunch of synchronicities that I'm not even sure you know the extent of. Some of those are we grew up about 30 miles from each other, just outside Philadelphia. Same exact age of graduating from undergraduate school. Your degree is in audio engineering, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mine is related. It was broadcasting, but a lot of audio stuff. And then you worked for a radio station that was in this right next to another radio station that I worked for in Philadelphia. You worked for YSP. I worked for WMMR.
Oh, man.
And then you worked at Sigma Sound, which is a studio that my dad was a session musician in for decades in the 70s and 80s.
I did not know. That's cool. Wow. How about that?
Yeah, so you were there a little bit later. He was there in the 70s and was on all those Gamble and Huff and Sound of Philadelphia albums that came out of there as the sax player. So the synchronicities are insane, and I've always wanted to make this happen because of that, and we're so happy to have you join us, at least until, like the Princess Bride said, such time that you shall grow weary of us.
Well, we'll see how that goes. I think it's going to be a while, though, because we have a lot to chat about.
I warn you, Paul is very grating. But
I think he knows that.
Yeah, I know. It's all good fun.
I think about the time also where we were at the VO barbecue, and you and I literally got kicked out of the house at around 3 a.m, along with Hugh Edwards and Peter Dixon.
Holy cow! Yeah, I think so. Well,
yeah. From Gravy for the Brain.
Gravy, yeah.
Because we were the last 4 just hanging out, and Roy was like, "Get out of the house." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You remember that SNL sketch? The thing that wouldn't leave.
Yeah, exactly.
That was us.
So once again, welcome. And we're going to do an in-depth interview to talk about your business and how you help people get their VO studios up to snuff and then service them throughout their careers. But first, we have to talk about our...
VoiceOver Extra brings you the VO meter reference levels. Seriously, guys, that's the best you could come up with? Hey, it's your show.
So, Sean, what's going on in your VO world?
Well, lots of stuff. I know in our last episode, we were kind of bemoaning the fact that, like, oh, we got no work. It's the end of the year. But that really changed. Like the first week of the year, like lots of agency auditions. I'm working on, I'm prepping a sci-fi audiobook for my father-in-law. Actually, he's got like a 12 novel series he's working on. Lots of character auditions from social media of all places.
Really?
I got cast for like an indie animation. I've been working on this motion comic, and I got another audio drama episode coming up for the Moxie Monroe podcast, which is kind of like a D&D film noir mashup. So that's a lot of fun. And on the GVA front, we've got a lot of freaking amazing guests this year, and I'm so excited to talk about it. But we have a cool guest today, so I'm not going to talk about him. But anyways, big things coming for GVA this year. You'll hear about it later. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. And from my end, things still kind of suck as far as bookings
Sorry to
wise.
rub salt in the wound.
But with the new year, I did sort of get re-energized and take some steps that I hope will lead in the right direction. A couple of those will be a little controversial, and George, I'd love your opinion on this if you have some thoughts. But I jumped in to basically all the pay-to-plays, whereas before I was doing none. I mean, I did it early in my career, tried them all, sort of weaned off of them, and for various reasons didn't do any subscriptions for a long time. But recently, Bidalgo came back on as a sponsor, came on as a full-time sponsor. So there's a membership there that's part of our deal. I'll just tell people because I don't think it really matters.
Full disclosure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been doing that for a couple of months since Armin decided to take us up on our offer. But then at the new year, I decided to jump back into both voices.com and Voice123 with a paid membership. And that has had various results so far. I haven't had any bookings yet because we're recording this on January 14th. So New Year is 2 weeks old. But some of the statistics from Voices looks like just over a third of my auditions have been listened to. I've got a few likes. Same with Bidalgo. And on Voice123, I got one review, which I was surprised because I have 5 of those in the entire time I've had an account, including the free account. So that was a nice surprise. I have no idea where this is going, but I feel good. And I'm happy that I have some momentum at least going in a positive direction in my mind.
I think that's great. I mean, I think if you can find ways to feel good right now about anything, especially, voiceover careers that are dealing with a lot of vectors, like AI being a big part of it, that's a good thing. I mean, to be able to come into the new year positive, have a positive mindset because you have some new things to try. Like I'm dealing with internal operational issues that have plagued my peacefulness around my business, and to find some new tool sets to put into play that, Paul, you're going to probably find out about it sooner or later, is bringing me some peace. Even though I don't know when it's going to be done and I don't know when I'll feel the results of it, at least I have a pathway forward or around, I like to say, around an obstacle, and that makes me feel good. So yeah, anything you can do to feel good will come across in everything you do, right?
A lot of that's your tech, too, and we'll talk about how your tech can give you confidence in your auditions and your work, and the questionable gear purchases will point to that too. But I think just being comfortable can really change your whole attitude.
Yeah, like you mean physically comfortable? You mean like ergonomically or mentally?
Both. So
okay.
If you're messing around your studio, like I often am, and things are stressful because you have a new mic or you've changed the booth or you've changed your interface, those can stress you out. But then mentally, I think they go hand in hand. So the physical will affect the mental, and then you can't perform well, at least in my experience.
Well, I remember Dave Fennoy said, I think it was on I Know That Voice, the documentary, where he's like, we can sense desperation in your reads. So even if you're going through a difficult time, like you can't let that affect you so deeply that it's coming across in your work. So like to both of your points, make whatever inroads are going to kind of give you that motivation and the confidence to just push through the hard times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's the voiceover in the booth stuff. I do have some announcing stuff that's pretty cool. I auditioned for the Miami Heat job, the NBA team.
What?
Which sounds insane because
what is that in comp? Well, what is that?
Announcing in the arena for the NBA basketball team. So I do a lot of live announcing. You may have seen. I'm vomiting all over social media about it.
Yeah.
And they opened up their job. And NBA jobs don't open very often. In fact, the existing Miami Heat announcer has been doing it for over 30 years. So I'm not sure why they are leaving, but I took the chance, sent them a demo. It was a virtual audition, here from my booth, which always helps. I think I've mentioned on the show that every job I've booked, I've gotten from an audition in here. The only time I haven't gotten a job is when I actually auditioned in person. So I sent them the file, and it was a Google Drive link, so I know they listened to it. And I'm just waiting to hear back if it's going to happen. I don't know if it will, but what the heck? I figured I'd take the shot. And I also have an audition coming up in person, which sort of makes me nervous because of what I just said, for the Washington Spirit, which is the professional women's soccer team in the Washington, D.C. area. That's in 2 weeks. I will let everybody know how that goes. And
Is
then
that logistically challenging if you book it?
that
Like
one's
car-
not, because
No.
it's only about 45 minutes. I mean, on a good day, 45 minutes
Nice.
away. Sometimes it can
Nice.
take up to 2 hours on the Beltway, or if
Sure.
the president is in a motorcade, which I have been stuck behind before, so that can
Yeah.
happen, but it's not too bad. And then finally, just last week, Saturday, I did a job at Tufts University in Boston, which is also crazy because, as people know, I live just outside of Baltimore. But my daughter goes to school in Boston. I took the opportunity to take her back to school and actually, they had put out an advertisement on one of the Facebook groups I'm in saying, we need an announcer for this weekend. And I said, hey, I'm going to be in town. Can I help?
Wow.
And the sports information director said, sure, come on in. So without
How
any audition or vetting, he just put me on the mic and I did their women's basketball game. So got to take my daughter back to school, write the whole
cool.
thing off as a business expense.
Nice.
That's
See,
awesome.
what are you growing in about? You got stuff going on. Look.
No,
that.
I said there is some stuff.
That story definitely reminds me of an occurrence I had in the summer last year where I had a job to go set up a YouTube studio in a guy's house near Atlanta, and the timing of it correlated with my daughter's open house at her new high school, where she's going to a Arts and Science Academy style school.
Mhm.
And so the customer was super cool, and he let me like leave in the middle of getting things done to drive an hour to go to her school and see her for her open house. And that just would never have happened, if that job hadn't been at the same time. So it's just so nice when you get to have those coincidences and you get to be with your daughter and your family and support, How cool is that?
Yeah, that's awesome. So that wraps up our VO meter reference levels. We'll get to our interview with George in just a minute. But first, we have to talk about
questionable gear purchase.
So, Sean, did you buy anything stupid like I did?
No, I didn't actually, but I'm really I'm looking at the kind of our outline for the episode. I'm really excited to hear what George is going to talk about. So you could skip me for this one.
Okay. Well, from my side, stupid stuff again. I bought a Blue Ember microphone, which they don't even make anymore. But I was looking for a small diaphragm or smaller diaphragm condenser because in this new booth, things are a little more dicey with background noise. And the large diaphragm condenser I was doing was picking up too much background noise. So I started experimenting again. We talked about this the last episode where I did more stupid stuff. But it was basically an Amazon purchase during the holidays. It was $40. So I said, I got to buy this, and I'll just keep it as a backup. So I did bring it in, and it did help a little, but not enough to really warrant what I was hoping to do. And it didn't sound as great as I remembered because I bought
that a
one.
pencil mic?
Yeah, it's a pencil mic.
Mm-hmm.
But side address, though, which is interesting. And I don't believe they make it anymore, but you can still find it places. Because Logitech now owns Blue, so it's kind of dicey where their models are going. But this is the original Blue Ember. And it was good 7-8 years ago when I bought it the first time. But
Right.
You might have outgrown it, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. I've outgrown it, and my tastes
Well,
have changed.
you're no longer drinking $2 Chuck from Trader Joe's.
That's true as well.
Your taste has improved, and so you hear the differences now in better mics.
That's probably it. So anyway, that wasn't great, and I returned it because it was from Amazon, and that's one of the reasons I got it there. But I did find a gem, I think, and I bought the Universal Audio SD1 modeling mic. So it's a dynamic mic. Looks a lot like the SM7B. It's got the yoke and the same pop filter that goes over it. And it has the ability to add these plugins from Universal Audio to model it after different mics. Now, I have a couple of these, and I actually bought the other one, a small diaphragm condenser, a couple of months ago. That was bad. That did not work out. But this one, I really like it. I'm using it now, and I don't have the ability to do the plugins live because I'm not using one of their interfaces with the DSP. But I put it on afterwards now, and I use two different models. One is the 441, which is modeled after the Sennheiser MD 441, and then the SM7B.
Which is a really expensive dynamic mic. It's like an $800 dynamic mic.
Right. So this thing, by the way, is, I think, $200 new, and I got it
Wow.
Used for even less.
So we're hearing you live because we're chatting with each other. So when I hear the mix of the show, is it going to sound a little different?
I think I'll leave it raw.
Okay, because I was going to say, I would have not at all guessed that you're talking into a dynamic mic.
I know. It has
it's
great
very
sound,
clear
right?
and natural.
Surprisingly nice.
I thought it was one of your other ones, like the AT875 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, I was finishing the plugins. I used the 441 and the SM7B. And not the SM7B, I'm sorry. That is one of the options, but I use the RE20.
Oh,
and
yeah.
what I've kind of used it as is sort of like a stack, George, which I know you're fond of building for people. So the plugin allows you to adjust a couple of things. One is the output, so you can use it as a compressor, basically. And then it also has the ability to adjust the proximity. And I'm not exactly sure what that's doing. I had to look more into it, but it makes it sound as if you're closer to the mic by adjusting tweaks in the plugin. So what I'm doing is I'm using the 441 for auditions, for commercial and documentary and e-learning. And I'm using the plugin set to the RE20 for audiobooks, because it does tend to smooth out some of that harshness in the higher end, especially for my voice, and sibilance. So it does exactly what the RE20 did for me when I actually owned one, and it's doing exactly what I hoped the 441 would do. I haven't owned one of those, but I've always wanted to. And it's giving that's doing the opposite. It's giving a little more sheen, a little more punch to the mix.
Right.
And I just love this thing. And going back to what we were talking about earlier about confidence, it's given me a whole new lease on these auditions that I'm doing for the pay-to-plays. I did one just yesterday. There was an announcer job for a soccer team, which I should be able to nail because I do that every couple of days during the fall. And I did it on this microphone, and my wife was in the room listening, and I said, oh, that sounds so good. And she's like, what is wrong with you?
What are you doing there?
But I was like enamored with my own voice, which I know is generally a bad thing. But I think pretty subjectively I can say that this was helping in this case.
And do you wear cans while you do your reads?
No.
Okay, so you weren't being fed back by the mic. You were just listening to the playback.
Listening to
and going,
playback and
"Man,
editing,
that just sounds like me, and it's the sound I want."
Exactly.
And that's so awesome. That's fantastic, and at such an affordable price point. And typically, when you're using these dynamic mics, notoriously, your interface is a problem. The gain has to be very, very high, and you end up having a fair amount of hiss and noise. I'm not hearing that here at all. It's clean.
And I'm using the Mixcast, the Tascam Mixcast 4, which does have a really clean output and insanely high. So it is pushed almost to the max, but I don't hear any sort of hiss whatsoever.
Can't believe how clean it sounds. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bravo
I was going to say,
the
we really
Mixcast.
are in an embarrassment of riches these days.
Sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that's one questionable gear purchase and one pretty good. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Matt McGlynn, sponsor or owner of Roswell Pro Audio, who's still a sponsor. And I'm not using his mic right now, obviously. But I did talk to him and ask him, one, did he have a dynamic mic he would recommend? I asked him if he had a small diaphragm condenser or medium diaphragm condenser he would recommend to try and get past the issues I was having before I bought this mic. And he said, no, not really. Why don't you try dynamic? So this is Matt's idea, and it was in the back of my head anyway. So I appreciate him being flexible and even giving that advice, and it's worked out pretty well.
How cool is
But
that?
if he ever makes one and needs someone to test it.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be here. Well, how cool that a mic manufacturer who doesn't make a mic, or it says like, look, you might as well try another mic. Instead of saying, well, we've got this one, we really recommend this one. No, he's extremely honest about that. Which I've spoken to him, I've met him. Hopefully, I'll see him in a week or so because I'm going to NAMM show.
I was going to ask. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, he says hi, by the way. He's glad you're on the show.
He's a good dude, and so that's great. That says everything about a manufacturer or product designer. He's like, yeah, I don't have one, but you should go try one. So
yeah,
maybe he secretly hoped you would hate it.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. He's gonna hate it. Sucks.
All right, so that wraps up Paul's revolving door of questionable gear purchases. But George, you said you had something that you wanted to share.
Yeah, so I bought two, to me, pretty expensive pairs of headphones in a period of probably like 5-6 months, and like seeking out microphones, where you're like, well, I already have 4, but this one really, I really need this one.
This one's got a new hat. I mean,
yeah, headphones are kind of like that, and so there's a company called Audeze, and it's spelled Audeze. Cute, right? And they're very well known in the hi-fi world of making very expensive hi-fi headphones. And every time I go to a trade show and there's an Audeze booth, I put on a pair of headphones from them and I go, oh man, I'll never buy one of these, because the vast majority of them were well over $1,000. And it was just like this ridiculous splurge of a headphone. Well, I guess they decided it was time to enter the gaming world because they could sell, 10x headphones or probably 100x number, a lot more quantity to gamers. And so they came out with a gamer headphone called the Maxwell. And I'd seen it and seen it promoted. I heard about it, I think, a year ago at NAMM show in Anaheim. And so long story short, I just decided to seek one out online, found one on eBay. It was like, I think I paid $200. I think they retail for over $300 for this pair of headphones. And it resembles, to anybody that knows, the Beyerdynamic DT770, which I also own. It's kind of in that realm. Big round ear pads, very soft, a sealed closed back headphone. And it is weighty. That is one of the only real negatives that you'll read about when you read about these, is that they are not light. But these are 90 millimeter magnaplanar, I believe is what it is, drivers. I could have that wrong. There's some kind of a non-standard driver. It's not a normal dynamic speaker driver like what's in most headphones. But what that allows them to do is they are ridiculously low distortion and extremely accurate. And they have an unbelievable frequency range from low end to high end. So if you play music that has sub bass in it, and I'm a bass head, I had a 15-inch subwoofer in my Honda in high school.
Wow.
All right. So I'm a bass head. But I also don't like crappy, muddy bass either. I don't want Beats bass. I want real extension. These suckers got it. I mean, it kind of boggles my mind what comes out of these headphones. But I use them now, though, as my everyday critical listening headphone because they do such a great job. They're so honest. They have a dongle that plugs into the laptop, so you're not even relying on Bluetooth. They have their own proprietary signal, so it's not compressed Bluetooth or anything. It's very clean. And so I just pop that into my laptop, put these on. Beyond that, they're just amazing headphones. They have a boom because they have a boom mic because it's a gamer headphone. So I use it for doing Zoom calls and doing tutorial videos, and the mic sounds so-so.
I was going to say, I remember a time you were looking for like headset mics, and I was curious if that stood up to some of the other models you tried.
No, I don't. I would never use this for anything critical. It's fine for doing training videos, like tutorials and some content, but it's not up to snuff, for anything pro. But it works fine. And it's just great that it's fully wireless and the battery lasts forever. I mean, I think I charge it like every few weeks, maybe once a month.
That's
crazy.
So it's an amazing headphone if you're wanting to try something really different and can find it at a price point that you agree with. That's great. The other pair of
half than the AirPods Max. I mean,
yeah. Well, the other dumb pair of headphones I bought is the AirPod Pro 3, and I say dumb because I already had the AirPod Pro 1, and they were pretty good. But Apple just keeps one upping, and I just looked at the tech behind it, saw the reviews that were coming out, and I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna have to try these dang things. And I got them, and they're really, really impressive. I mean, they have a sound profile that I enjoy. They have tremendously low-end bass. They are very clean and open sounding. They sound much better than any other AirPod I'd ever used. And their noise canceling is freakishly good. So they're extremely nice in noisy environments on the airplane, etc. And they constantly adapt to your environment. So there's adaptive mode. So you can have a conversation with somebody and it will mute the music while you're listening, while you're talking to them. It'll amplify their voice so you can hear their voice. It even acts like hearing aids. So if you have hearing issues, it'll do a hearing test. And
I was going to ask if you tried that feature.
Yes, it'll calibrate them to your hearing.
And this is all in real time, right? Like if someone talks to you, it'll make adjustments. You don't have to remove an earbud or anything.
No, you never have to take an earbud out. Whoa. So if you're like me and you're in my age group and you see Zoomers with AirPods in social situations, and you're like, what a jerk. Maybe
they're trying to hear you better.
Maybe they have these because I don't know, because they're incredibly good at adapting to environmental background noise. If you're like especially in a city, walking to and from a train or getting on and off a subway or any sort of really noisy urban environment, these things are amazing because they just adapt and deal with that noise in the background. It's really like, the closest equivalent is like wearing a good sealed headphone and literally mixing the sound of the environment around you yourself. Imagine
That's
doing
nuts.
that. Like, oh, that train's really loud. I'm going to pop that down. There we go.
And did you
'Cause
try any of the other recent AirPods when you were testing these out?
No, I just went right to the Pro 3s. I was in
Gotcha.
a mall. They had dropped literally that day, and you walk in at the Apple store and there's a pile of them on the front counter, and you're like, that's what everybody's here for. And I just walked right in. I was like, I want that. And then I walked out with them, and I have been very, very happy with them. Are they good for voiceover? No. Do they have a way to be plugged in? No. So they really don't work for monitoring. You can't wear these while you're in the booth monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
You can use them for monitoring your direction, though. So you can have one ear in and just use it to listen to the Zoom call.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they're good for. For folks who do not want to wear headphones, you can have this one in one ear. And when it's in one ear, it automatically is in adaptive mode. So it's not going to plug your ear like you're sticking something in your ear. They actually sort of act like an open air. Well, it's like they're actually not even there. Once you get used to it, it's pretty weird at first, but really it's amazing. Put it in one ear, it'll pass through the sound in your natural room, so it won't feel like your ear is being plugged, and you can hear the voice of who you're being directed with. So maybe this is a useful tool to a voice actor, perhaps, something you can consider.
Yeah, I think, and this wasn't even the current model, but James Arnold Taylor talked about putting one earbud in and then putting his studio headphones over that so he could like monitor himself through the headphones and then hear his client through the AirPods.
I never tried that. These could get weird if you do that, but I haven't tried it yet because they have so much active noise control and adaptive sound react. They have multiple microphones in them too, right? They're not only listening to the environment and your voice, they're listening to the ear canal. It's really
so
hard.
nuts. And it's got like the real-time translation too. That's crazy.
I haven't gone there yet. My next questionable gear purchase won't be a purchase at all. It'll be when I install iOS 26 on my phone, which I have avoided like the plague. But when I install that, I will then be able to do the, Babelfish style translation,
Or Star
which
Trek,
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to trying. Yeah, or Star Trek. Yeah, that is something that it can do. Unfortunately, the reason I really wanted it was to spy on my girlfriend talking to her family in Farsi. It doesn't speak Farsi yet. Come on, Apple. Get it together, guys. But when it does, I'm going to definitely be upgrading my phone just so I can use that one feature. But anyway, that's enough for me on the questionable gear.
No, that's great. Like I said, I was interested in the AirPod. Like I have the Pro 2s that I've had for like 5 years. They're starting to get a little unreliable, so I was looking to upgrade. And I just got my wife the AirPods 4 with the ANC.
Right.
So it's kind of like the mid-tier model, and she freaking loves them. They're her first like AirPods. They look great. And my ears are weird. I have very narrow ear canals, so I don't know if I like the silicone tips or not. I might just have to try them out. But
well, you have
thank
to try
for
the new
in-depth
ones
review.
because
Yeah.
the new ones, that a big part of the improvement was the ear tips. They re-engineered them completely, and they're this new foam silicone hybrid. And this is one of the things that makes them so good is because the ear seal is extremely good, and they come with 4 different sizes. So they're working really hard to adapt to people with weird ear canals. Like
All right, you're
Sean.
selling me. My hand's like shaking over the buy now.
I'm
button.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's
I'm
like
so
Frodo
sorry.
trying not to put the ring on. Like, no.
I know, because they're not cheap. They're $250-ish. If you can find them cheaper, great. But I don't know how to describe. I'll tell you this: put a lanyard on the case. I have a little lanyard
Oh
on
God, they're so easy
it. Absolutely,
to use.
put a lanyard because the damn thing slips out of your hand, and when it hits the floor, I swear they spent hours in the lab trying to figure out how to get it to eject both AirPods every time you drop them because that's what always happens. It hits the floor, and the 2 AirPods go pew,
Scattered
And they're
all over the
attracted
place.
to the
directions.
nearest couch or bed.
Oh my God! And that's the worst on an airplane or in a public space or out on the street.
Yeah.
None of those situations are good. Anyway, those are my headphones, and I go back and forth between them, and then the headphones I'm wearing now, which are the Austrian Audio High X15s, which are a good budget headphone.
Well, there you go. Some not so questionable gear purchases for a change. I
Sensible
like
gear
it.
purchases.
So that wraps up our questionable gear purchases. We'll get to our interview with George right after these important messages.
Walgreens. Because it's flu season, and you live in a place with doorknobs and handrails and, people.
We tried booking a vacation rental on one of those other websites. They don't always tell you everything.
The stars take it to the red carpet.
We are back live from the red carpet.
California leads the way for change in America, and so does Kamala Harris.
Rated M for mature. Claire Redfield.
And who exactly are you?
So, yeah, what hashtag should I use to describe a grown man in a tuxedo wrestling a goat?
And prior to 1933, many of them belonged to a variety of political parties that were now outlawed in Germany.
This is the story of how Q got curly. Quinn was crazy about curls. Curly fries, curly straws, curly-haired dogs.
Hey, Jay Michael here. Thanks for listening to the VO Meter podcast. It's one of my favorites. If you're looking for a great demo like the ones you just heard, check out jmcdemos.com for more information.
How many times has this happened to you? You're listening to the radio when this commercial comes on, not unlike this one, and this guy starts talking, not unlike myself.
Or maybe it's a woman that starts talking, not unlike myself, and you think to yourself, geez, I could do that.
Well, mister, well, missy, you just got one step closer to realizing your dream as a voiceover artist, because now there's Global Voice Acting Academy. All the tools and straight-from-the-hip, honest information you need to get on a fast track to doing this commercial yourself.
Well, not this one exactly.
Classes, private coaching, webinars, home studio setup, marketing and branding help, members-only benefits like workouts, rate and negotiation advice, practice scripts, and more. All without the kind of hype you're listening to right now. Go ahead, take our jobs from us. We dare you.
Speak for yourself, buddy. I like what I do.
And you will too when you're learning your craft at Global Voice Acting Academy. Find us at globalvoiceacademy.com.
Because you like to have fun.
In these modern times, every business needs a website. When you need a website for your voice acting business, there's only one place to go. Like the name says, voiceactorwebsites.com. Their experience in this niche webmaster market gives them the ability to quickly and easily get you from concept to live online in a much shorter time. When you contact voiceactorwebsites.com, their team of experts and designers really get to know you and what your needs are. They work with you to highlight what you do. Then they create an easily navigable website for your potential clients to get the big picture of who you are and how your voice is the one for them. Plus, VoiceActorWebsites.com has other great resources, like their practice script library and other resources to help your voiceover career flourish. Don't try it yourself. Go with the pros. VoiceActorWebsites.com, where your VO website shouldn't be a pain in the you-know-what.
So, George, I don't want to get into a whole background story because it's detailed, and we've actually done that on the show before. But tell us a little bit about your business and how you help voice actors get started or maintain their careers.
Thank you. So I created and run George the Tech, and, the name is highly egocentric, but it really is a team. It has become since I started the business under that name in 2017. I've been doing this and supporting voice actors on their technical journey since 2005. I guess it's been about that long. So let's say 20 years. And it's the name, the company has changed multiple times. I've even left my own company to join another company and then came back to running my own company. It's been quite a journey. But since 2017, we've been George the Tech. And we provide a wide array of services from the very, very basic, do I sound any good, which I call sound check, to designing studios and solving all sorts of HVAC design problems and acoustical design issues and on and on. So we run the gamut, which kind of makes for a messy website. And we have a pretty messy website. But if you head to georgethe.tech, you'll see a top menu bar with drop downs with that you can navigate through. And we've got a resources area that has a tremendous amount of free resources. And then we have our services. And you can filter those services by need. So, once you start browsing, it's like the proverbial Greek restaurant menu. like flipping pages. It's like the
Or the
spiral
Greek
down
Diner
menu.
back in Philly.
You're like the Greek Diner back in Philly. Like this menu's like 16 pages. That's like our website, because we have so many ways we can serve people, but we also have a team, and we want to make sure that each service that you book with us, whether you're trying to fix an Adobe Audition problem or Twisted Wave, or figure out how to set up a podcast template for your show, that you're getting the right person to help you with that task. And that's what makes things complex. We have multiple members of our team, and the system allows you to book time or work with those specific hand-chosen team members.
Including me, by the way. I forgot to mention that specifically.
Yeah. Well, you guys
Absolutely.
offer such a comprehensive package of services. I mean, like you were saying, your constituency is so varied. Like you have people who have no experience with voiceover audio, and then you have people who've been in the industry for decades. So naturally, you're going to have different products and services you recommend.
Yes, this is something that's been a pursuit of mine for years, which is figuring how to take such a huge, overwhelming array of capabilities and services, and then distill those down or get people the help that they need. And so we've been doing it brute force by literally having, don't know where to start, click here kind of thing, fill out this form, and we'll assess what you need and get you to the right service. That's hard to do in scale, but for the amount of work that we do and the amount of customers we handle, it's totally manageable. And that's what we tell a lot of people to do. So when you get to the site, if it's overwhelming, and it can be very quickly, just go to that start here and fill out that form. And then we can assess where you are, what you need, and direct you to the things that we do and the people that do them. So you're not wasting your time. So that's a really important thing. So that if in doubt, you can do that. And if you're already got a mic in a studio and you just don't know if you sound any good, get a sound check. Those are the most high-value things we can possibly do, and they're very popular.
Yeah, highly recommend it. I've done the sound check. I've done a few of your stacks for like commercial and audiobooks. And
me too. I'm not only a member, I'm also a client.
Exactly. I'm a constituent. But so, George, I'm curious, since it is the beginning of a new year, are there any sort of annual standard operating procedures or maintenance you recommend talent take in their studios at the beginning of the year?
Why, yes. Book a service with me to check in on your studio. Do it every year, like you're seeing.
Take out the guesswork. Yeah,
that's right. Well,
shameless.
I can't not say that, because I had not a lot of people do that, right? But I've had a few people book me at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. Like, I think everything's fine, but I don't know what I don't know. It's okay. It's cheesy, but it's like having your annual physical, right? It's like going to the doctor, again, just checking out all the parts. That's something I can recommend people do, because it's just peace of mind. I almost always find, if not something wrong, at least some little tweak or an improvement, a mic placement issue because you didn't know how to fix it, or maybe a workflow thing or an efficiency thing.
So that's a really important thing I hadn't thought about, but things change. And if you aren't attuned to it or obsessing over the audio like sometimes we are, you might not notice it. I'm thinking about next door. A couple of years ago, my neighbors put in a generator, a whole house backup generator. And I noticed at the same time, every Tuesday at 10 a.m., it does like a refuel, because it has to like suck in natural gas, or I don't know exactly what it's doing, but it runs for like half an hour. Same time, Tuesday, 10 o'clock. If I didn't know that was happening or wasn't attuned to it, that might be in all my auditions at that time, and I might not notice unless I went to someone like you to listen.
That's a good point, because those kinds of sounds, they're not grating so much that it distracts you. But
yeah, your brain filters them out.
Your brain filters them out, exactly, but your mic doesn't.
Right.
And so your mic's picking it up, and it might get in the recording, and maybe you're so used to hearing it that you're just explain it away. But as soon as somebody objective outside of your environment hears the audio, they'll immediately, if they're listening closely, pick up on it, right? So that is some of the kind of things that happen too. Also, people running tube mic preamps or tube mic or microphones themselves, the tubes don't just burn out. They like slowly get noisy, and the signal gets noisier and noisier. And then it's like, wow, you realize you have a lot of noise on your signal, and it's so gradual that you can just lose sight of that. You just don't notice it anymore. So that's the kind of stuff that I recommend. But yeah, check over your systems, check your drive space, make sure your backups are active and still working, because Time Machine sometimes just disappears and stops backing up, and that day you really, really needed it, you realize it hasn't backed up since March last year, and that's horrible. So check your backup state. Don't just upgrade software willy-nilly just because there's new things. Be mindful when you do upgrades. Shut off things that may have turned themselves on. Sometimes when you do a system upgrade, with intention, that changes the state of certain settings, such as update software automatically.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do an upgrade, check those settings again, because likely those settings have been changed and now it's going to upgrade automatically. iPhones do this. I know this for sure. Like you do an iPhone update or an upgrade, and then the state of automatic updates is now turned on. And you're like, I didn't turn that on, but it's on now. So check the settings of your software and your OS to make sure it's not automatically upgrading or updating your software. Do it mindfully. That's another thing that you can check on.
Yeah, I know Mac recently had an update with their new mic mode that nobody asked for.
Right.
Right.
I just had to double check that it was on standard and not voice isolate right now. But
Right. Yes.
Oh man. But what were you going to say, Paul?
I was going to say, I learned this from George a long time ago. Don't automatically click yes on an update. Just yesterday, I got the iOS update, not iOS, the macOS update for Tahoe. And I was like, no, not yet.
I know, because it's so nerve-wracking that you might just click on it by mistake.
Yeah, because it came up right in the middle of a session, and I had to click no quickly so it would go away.
Yeah, well, there's two settings on the Mac around updates. One of them is automatically download updates, and one of them is automatically install updates. You can have automatically download turned on if you want to, but keep in mind that if you do have that on, what happens is the update's already on your machine. You just haven't authorized it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that prompt comes up and it's already downloaded it, when you say okay, in a blink of an eye, your machine is shutting down and it's installing.
Yeah, this happened to me with Sequoia, actually. That exact process happened. I didn't know I said yes until I woke up the next morning and it was done.
I know it's that. So for that reason, I even recommend turning off the automatically download updates, because at least then there's a time period where it has to start downloading, which gives you plenty of time to go, nope, I don't want to install this yet. You can back out. So that's a good one too. But it happens to everybody. I can't tell you how many times someone's like, I don't know how I did it, but now I have Tahoe. And I'm like, yeah, you had to have agreed to do that. The system will not upgrade OSs without your direct intervention. You just have to be careful.
Awesome. Great suggestions, George. I mean, I know that was personally relevant for when I started because I was in a small apartment, and you and Dan pointed out that I had a refrigerator in the background that you could easily hear that I was completely deaf to. So if you've never had an expert listen to your audio, please do it. It will save you so much stress.
Yeah, it's like the ear. It's the ear version of nose blindness.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what our houses smell like when we return from a trip. Right?
Yeah.
Do you ever walk into your house after a trip and go, oh, it smells great in here. I miss my home.
The sense of familiarity, yes.
Not for me. I'm always like, well, this place has a fun.
Oh, no. Got to bust out OxyClean.
Your ears can be the same way. So thanks for bringing that up, Sean. That's a really good point. You don't always hear those things, even though they're physically there. Your brain filters it out.
No, happy to. But also happy to announce that you've got a new book. Do you want to talk about it?
Oh, I have a new book I'm working on. Yeah, it's true. I do still have a pre-order open on the site. So at georgethe.tech, there's a pre-order banner button on the top of the homepage. But I am working on a book. It's been a year and a half or so long process. It's not done yet. My goal is to have the ebook or the EPUB done by VO Atlanta. I got to have a goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that seems like a good one. But we did a pre-sale, and the book's called The Voice Recording Handbook. So it's all about recording voice. It's not just about voiceover per se. It's about voiceover recording. It's about podcast recording. It's about really any time you're trying to record dialogue, voice, spoken word. And so the scope of the book is covering a wider array of area. I was thinking about just doing voiceover, and I thought there's so much more universal truths, and I don't want the book to be pigeonholed as a voiceover book. So that's what we're working on, and I'm excited to get that out there in the world. And it's going to be, again, end of March is what we're shooting for. I've got an editor who's working with me and is acting like a coach and helping me stay focused, which is very difficult for me.
Runs rampant in creative businesses, I hear.
It's tough, really tough. And so we're inching along. I have a meeting with her immediately following our recording today, actually, and it's going to be hopefully a really useful book, but also not a terribly dry book. So we're putting an extra time and effort into getting anecdotes and interesting stories that relate to all the topics in the book. But and then eventually we'll have the print edition not long after. And then, of course, there'll be a voiceover recording book, a voiceover narrated version, an audiobook.
Are you narrating it yourself?
Well, okay. Here's my idea. I don't want to just have a voice. I want to have multiple voices. So the scope of that being what it is, it's a daunting thing to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
But I would really like to have multiple voices on it. How many and how I choose them is basically my nightmare. I know so many, and I know so many who are great. So I have to figure out how I'm going to cast the book. It seems very daunting, but I would really like to be a lot of voices on it. It just feels right. So that is the goal. If you get the book and it's just my voice, that means I just gave up.
He failed. No. But I mean, hey, you got a nice tone too for non-voice talent. So
thanks. I mean, I know I could do it. I just feel like there's a really cool opportunity to have a lot of voices on it. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, yeah, you can check it out. Just head over to georgelee.tech. You'll find the pre-order button there, and you can get in on some packages. Help me get it over the finish line, because those sales do help me pay for my editor, who's helping me get the book done. You know, it's sort of a flywheel effect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So thanks for your support.
No, absolutely. I mean, we've sung your praises multiple times on this podcast. And like I said before, you work with a lot of people who are intimidated or have no experience with voiceover audio. And I never thought, like a decade ago when I started, that I would ever create my own home studio space and it would sound professionally competitive. So you played an integral role in that. So thank you, George.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear it. And you guys both sound excellent today. So clearly your ears have tuned into what sounds good. And hopefully I'm up to par. I know earlier Paul's like, I hear an airplane. Let's take that again. I'm like, oh, come on, seriously.
Aren't you in the booth, George? No.
Aren't you in the booth? Okay, all full disclosure, there's a booth within 2 feet of me behind me, and I refuse to go in there. So.
Be claustrophobic. I get you.
If I don't have to be in there, I'm not going to be in there, guys. I mean, that's the bottom line.
I understand.
But anyway, it's been a pleasure to join you guys today. Thanks for bringing me into the fold. And let's see what happens on this show going forward. It's fun to have a new energy and a way to kick off the new year this way. I really appreciate you wanting me to join in.
Yeah, we're excited.
Our pleasure.
And I hope that you pass the audition, as the Beatles sang all the time.
Sorry, I'm not feeling the chemistry, but
you mean in the court of common opinion? You know, like what kind of feedback we get from God, this guy George talks way too much. He dominates the conversation. Can you drop him?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to happen because people are probably sick of us too, but we'll see.
I just want us to be the Smartless of voiceover. You know the show Smartless?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Yeah,
that's my goal.
Well, I mean, they are voiceover. How many voiceovers have all those actors done?
Well, that is true. They've probably all done voiceover, especially Will Arnett. Yeah.
Right.
All right, so that wraps up this episode of the VO Meter.
Measuring your voiceover progress.
We're still putting together our schedule for the next few episodes, but stand by. You'll hear us in the next one. Thanks for listening to this episode of the VO Meter. To follow along, visit us at www.vometer.com.
We'd also love to hear your comments or suggestions for the show. Or if you have a questionable gear purchase, tell us all about it on our Facebook page or on Twitter @the VO Meter.